Back in September 2020, we sold our house in the UK, then moved to Normandy in France, where we bought an ancient French farmhouse with various outbuildings, including an old barn, a small cottage with 2 woodlands, and 3.5 acres of pastured land in a beautiful national park area. Follow us on our journey as Budo and I renovate the farmhouse, manage our land, and take on many projects for you to enjoy. Let the fun begin. Bonjour everyone.
Hi folks, welcome to Caravan Corner.
Hope you've all had a good week.
Yep.
Another week has just flown past.
Yeah, it goes by quick. We've had a busy 2 weeks really on the windows. You'll see that in this video. It now comes to some sort of conclusion. I've got the boxes made up. All the sashes are made up now. Tracy's painting, she'll tell you about that in a minute. And the design on there I've done them in a Georgian style, how the Georgians would make them. I used to do a lot of work for conservation back in England, and you know, it's why I know how to do them like that anyway, basically. But I've added an extra feature, which is the half fleur-de-lis horns on them, which you'll see as well. So if you watch through the video, you'll see me doing all the little bits of intricate work like scribing, tenoning and things like that. And then you'll see me just sorting the horns out as well, making the shapes and that. And then you'll get at the end of it, you'll see the finished product.
Which looks absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, they look nice.
I know that sounds a bit biased, but they are. It
was a bit of a brain rattler, really. Yeah. You know, trying to work out what we was going to go for here. But I think the 6 up, 6 down panes, they are in perfect proportion for the size of the window openings, and they work with an old property like this. I mean, I know this is France, right? And I know that they have different styles of windows, but we're trying to be a bit sympathetic in certain ways, but be practical as well. But the good thing is of the time period, the windows would have suited this type of building anyway, and they look right for this building. You could pop it in anywhere in France or England and it would look right. The
actual design of the windows are different, where French windows open inwards, but the actual sizes of panes are quite similar, are they, to the UK?
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
how many panes you have? Yeah.
And you know, when we spent a couple of days, me and Tracy, driving around looking at different towns and villages in France, and looking at what the standard set for the windows were, and there wasn't. No, I mean, they're
diverse.
Yeah, it was so diverse. You had 20 over 20 somewheres, 20 and 20 panes, didn't you? And you had 10s and loads of 8 and 8s, and it was just a random. The general consensus, if you say about 30% we saw, were probably 3 panes long and 3 panes long, and then the windows opened inwards, obviously. But anyway, we've worked around it. We've got to this, and it's going to be safer, more practical to use. Definitely. You can open them up enough that you can lean out and shut the shutters. It all works. So we'll still have the French shutters on the outside. And later on, Tracy's going to make all, is it Roman blinds?
Yeah, Roman blinds. I'm toying at the moment whether to make one with a shaped valance at the moment, or to do what they call a relaxed Roman blind, which has like a smile. And because there's a little bit controversy, which we'll talk in another video about, having curtains, because
how it'll work in that space, in that bedroom,
because of the beam, isn't it? Because the side of the beam.
We're okay in the front room, but it was the bedrooms were awkward because the beam was in an awkward place, really.
So, but it will look beautiful, won't it, when it's done? But I've been excuse me, I've been oiling all the boxes, which I've finished. They had 3 coats of oil, which they've dried lovely, haven't they, and hardened.
Lovely.
And the internals of the window boxes and the window sashes are going to stay oiled. to obviously that will match the doors, which are going to be all over the farmhouse.
Gives a warmth, doesn't it?
It's like a honey colour, isn't it? It's lovely.
Oak is such a precious, lovely timber.
Yeah.
And you know, it to enhance it is the oil enhances it, and it gives that warmth of a glow of wood against the stone and the characters of what's in there.
And also the painted skirtings, woodwork. And also, I've now finished all the 3 coats of our cottage cream on the external side of the window boxes. So I'll be starting oiling all the sashes and doing the same process. So that'll be 3 coats of oil all over the sashes, and then just on the front sides I'll do 3 coats of our cottage cream. But it's just such a lovely combination, the cottage cream and the
cream is an old, I mean, if you look on, I think it was 10 Downing Street have it in England. I'm sure it's cottage cream on there they've got. And somewhere else I saw that was important in London, but it's a traditional old English colour, if you like, and we've seen it a few places in France as well, which was nice. You know, we saw a few houses had it on here, and we saw a few houses with the anthracite grey on the
that's very popular, actually. I was quite surprised.
On the shutters and that, wasn't it? Because that's another job I'll be starting now, as well as his joinery. I've got a couple of more windows to get making at some stage. Don't know what phase we'll do this at. And I'm going to at the same time start making the rest of the shutters for the front.
Yeah.
And at that stage, Tracy's going to start finishing the pointing off on the front that I'd started and done up to. And we've decided to just go on with that.
I won't take the glory for the little square.
No, well, you should take the glory because you do a good job. But the thing is we will move forward. So we're getting the front of the house looking really nice. And you know, the various projects we got coming up, which is the kitchen and we've priority things. We've got a lot to do. And you know, it's not going to be done quick, and it's going to take a few years to sort all this out. So we're happy to work like that. We're jollying along, as they say.
It's a new adventure, isn't it? In the second stage of our youngish middle-aged life.
I'll say more middle-aged, like middle-aged. Anyway, it don't matter. It's things like this keep you going, you know. But
it's going to be beautiful when it's finished. We know that.
We know it's going to be nice when it's done and finished. And we're putting money into it to make it right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think we'll cut it here now.
I'm not sure if this was a short caravan corner, because we always jinx it when we say that.
Start talking again. So
I think
don't
you'll
forget,
enjoy this video.
Share, subscribe, and join along with us. Come along, follow us, because we'll have videos every week.
Yeah.
And we put up a new little thing. It's a thank you. It's just you'll see it on the front of the
on our homepage
page, is that, where it just says if you want to thank us for anything, for doing the filming for you guys and showing the detail we're putting into it as well. And we'll continue to do that in the future,
because there is a lot of projects to come.
Oh, there's lots, and there's loads. I mean, I'll be hand making the kitchen. It'll be a classical style kitchen as well.
There'll be soft furnishings.
You'll be doing all that, which you've done tons of, and we've got I've got loads of like cabinets to build and things like that. What else? I was just thinking there's lots, but there's loads to
pointing. I've got a lot of the whole of the outside of the house to point. So
I mean, later in the future, you want to do what we call in the man cave. We're supposed to be going now, aren't we, Trey?
Yeah, let's go now. Come on, let's be strong.
I'll be building all that anyway. Anyway, guys, it's pleasure.
Weekend.
Don't forget, tune in next week, and we'll see you then.
And enjoy the video tonight.
Yeah, enjoy this video because it's quite detailed.
Yep. Au revoir.
Bye. So as you can see, the old compost is going darker. We'll talk about that another time though. I just wanted to point this out to you guys. What we got to contend with here. That's nice, isn't it? Through the forest, very dark in there now. This is 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's really dark in there. But anyway, this is what we're going to contend with. This stuff here, bracken. This has literally come up in a week, from that short up to that height, all the way through. We've got it all over the land, but this is quite particularly bad in this area here. This is where I keep the tractors and bits and bobs. It just goes up everywhere, and it's really difficult to get rid of. But we will get rid of it, but we've got to spend time in the house doing the renovation and that. This is not a priority. We can let it grow another year. But I just want to show you something that I do want to grow well, and is growing well. We're going to head there now, which is over here. What I've done is I've been to 2 of my trees, which are goat willows, right? One is a female tree and one is a male tree, and I cut cuttings off of them, and they're down here, okay, in these buckets. So you've got a male and a female cuttings, and I hope that that's how they work in the real world. I don't know about that side of it, whether they become male or female trees or whatever. But what I wanted to show you was how, when you just do a cutting off a branch, how quick the roots come on them when you put them in water. Look, if you can see that. So you've got these lovely roots here. I'm going to have to do it with the other hand. So you've got all these lovely roots here, and that there effectively can go in a pot now, and that's a little mini tree. And the reason I'm doing all these is all this here, this is called goat willow, by the way, is going to be I'm going to be, look, there's another one there, look at that, amazing. Just pop them in water when you do the cuttings. Always remember the right way up as they grow. But I'm going to set a little woodland of willows. Going to have various different types of willows, but mainly this goat willow, I want it for 2 reasons for the future. One is for the bees, because goat willow is fantastic for bees, and also all sorts of insects, but really particularly for bees. And when I have my beehives going, I want to have another source of food. But also is the wood, so you can coppice them roughly a good coppice every 3 to 4 years, and you can take out 3-inch timbers, trunks, which they will grow to that much in 3 or 4 years, and you can coppice the wood. Look at all this stuff here, and have firewood regenerating. And if you have going back to the willow, if you make it a rotation, so you have, say, your forest split into 3, and you do one for 1 year, have enough to get enough for 1 year, and then the next year and the next year, it's in succession. You go backwards and start again, like, you know. And that's how you keep your fuel bills for free, if you like, especially if you're using wood burning. So we've got in there, we'll have 2, possibly 3 wood burners, and a wood burning cooker stove, which is like a Arga Raven or whatever they call them. Anyway, I just thought I'd let you see that, but we are baffled how these things grow so mad. Yeah, I'm going to get a strimmer out and knock them all off in the next week or so, but it's just mental. It's like they're growing on steroids everywhere. Anyway, guys, okay then, hopefully you can see this. So we're now into the marking up the sashes stage, and what I do first is I create a rod for the sashes specifically. You saw me do a rod before for the boxes, and the boxes are made. So what I do is then take an inside dimension of the boxes and lay this out as a rod. So here is the top of the top sash sideways on, and then the bottom sash sideways on down the bottom here, okay. And then this bit here, which I'll bring the camera up after and show you, but is the top and bottom sash as they are, looking for it straight on, okay. And then what I do is I mark out all my dimensions I need, where my glazing bars are going to be, where I'm going to create my haunches for mortising and tenoning. This will give me the mortise and tenon line for the on the sash style, and same with the meeting rail. And I'll just show you the meeting rails. Where are they? They're on the bottom here, typical. So this is your meeting rails, okay, and this one here is your top sash, if you like, and that's your bottom sash. So your glass goes in here, and your glass goes on here, and then this will be puttied. And then what they do is they pass each other like this. If you can see that, it's hard to do it on a film, but they pass each other like that, and then they come back and meet in the centre, okay. Just got to do a little rebating here at some stage to put the draft excluder in, but I'm just trying to create it all first because I haven't got the right draft excluders here, and I can't get them in France. I've tried everywhere, so I'm going to have to get them in England at some stage and bring them over, but it's not big, it's just a little pile of them. But anyway, so that's your meeting rounds, right? So the first ones I'm creating now is the top sash styles, and that's this here, right? This is a style. Okay, that's where your glass is going to sit in, and you're going to have the, or I'm going to have the putty line on there, and you can see there's some lines already I've created. So basically, these lines line up on here and here, and I transfer them over onto the top. Same with the mid rail, the glazing bar, and then same with the meeting bars or meeting rails. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll find out the centre of that, and I'll put a mortise hole there that I can chop out with a chisel there. And this bit left on here, as you can see, I've written on there horn. Okay, I think you can see that horn, so that's where the mortise would be, and this will be the horn at some stage. So this is sort of the style I'm going for, but not 100% sure yet. So that'll be the horn finish on there, but you'll see that as it goes back actually like that. Right, so that all this bit gets cut out over there. Anyway, very hard to show on telly or TV or whatever you call it, video. But anyway, so that's that one. Then I'll do the bottom one, which will be one of these shorter ones that will go there, mark them out, and start chopping them out. So once I've got these all marked out, I'll show you me chopping them out, how I create them, and then I'll show you afterwards creating the tenons and the haunches, and then cutting them out. Okay, so I've marked out all the styles now, so you can start to see the marking here. This is ready to chop out the mortises. These are styles. Then I've got the mid rail, the glazing bar to go in here in the middle, and then at this end you can see if I put them two together, so these two are off of one sash if you like, and you can see that it's like a fleur-de-lis, isn't it? So I've made them a half fleur-de-lis, yeah. And I'm just going to show you how I did that. So I'll just basically get a template. I made up a template earlier, put that on there, and then coming over here, put it on the drill press, just put this sacrificial board on because it's long, so I can hold them nice and square to the, or 90 degrees to the drill. And then basically I just go through that very nice and slowly. With this, I'll try and film that for you while I'm doing that. So I cut that shape out there, then I cut this bit out on the bandsaw, and this bit here on the bandsaw, which I'll show you, but it's very noisy. So and then I put it onto this tool here, which is my bobbin sander, just a little tabletop one. It does the job, little Triton, decent little make as well, not bad. But I'll just put it on top of on here, and then shape it off on this. This goes up and down and spins at the same time. Anyway, let's show you me drilling these. So you get a nice clean cut on the back edge as well, if you put a sacrificial board down, and don't have this going too fast. So that gives me the first bit, which is this bit here. So I'll cut this out on the bandsaw, cut most of that out of the bandsaw close to the line, and then I'll sand all this up, and I'll show you when I get to that stage. Okay, so this is it rough cut with a bandsaw, so it looks really rough and horrible at the moment. Yep. Then what I'll do is, this is where my mortise is going in here, through there, which will the mid rail come through. So I cut this off down to this level here, so it's flush, and then I can let my mid rail into there. But I cut that out of the way now, so I can work on this bit here, and you'll see it'll come up nice in a minute. Okay. Okay then, let's show you how sand these up. So you see how rough they look when you cut them on the bandsaw. Get all the ridges and everything in there. So what I do is I use this bobbin sander that goes up and down. So before each time I use it, I just clean the sandpaper out with this special tool here. And what that does is it just cleans all the sandpaper off for me. Okay. There's going to be some noise now, but what I'll do is I will cut it at this bit here and then put some music over it or something, so you won't get all that noise. And there you go. So that's a nice smooth edge now all the way around. Let's give you that. Now what I do is I change this over for a smaller one, which will fit in there, and then that will go around in here and just tidy this up. I won't show you that as well, but it's the same principle. Basically I'll go around this here, and I've got all the rest to do anyway. Once now change that, I can go around to doing all of the smaller holes, and then they'll be finished, they'll be ready, so I can start chopping in the mortises and putting in the glazing bars, and they will look beautiful. I'm sure you're going to like them. Okay then, here we go. Right, so they're all done now, all 4 sets. Okay, so these are the what we call the top sashes of each box. Okay, in different sizes they are, obviously. But I've done all the hornwork now. We call this the hornwork. It's a unique style because I've done a half fleur-de-lis from my pattern I made up. Okay, so it's just a little template which I will now keep for future projects. You never know. But she's all ready now to be side sanded, and well, that'll be done once I get the joinery together. But it looks a little bit gothic again. Do like that gothic feature. But that fleur-de-lis is tying in with the house. You know, you can see it throughout the pattern of the house we've been doing, is adding fleur-de-lis, and it will join up the whole house eventually. But yeah, tell me what you think. It's all in oak, so I'll just give you a little description of this. This is brown oak here, and these are normal standard white oak or French oak. These are just what I've got over. I found this brown oak. This is what I made that doors for that chateau at that time. This is very, very tough stuff, very hard to work. You know, it's very robust, and I could see that being, you know, lasting for a very long time because of the hardness of it. It's so tough. But this one is just normal oak. It's nice to work with. I just found this a little bit harder to work with the chisels and that, as this was brown oak as well, and this bit was as well. But it's lovely. It'll come up. A lot of this is going to be painted, believe it or not, on the outside. So all this will be painted on the outside, but you'll still see these, obviously. But the inside of the sashes, which is this side, won't be painted. And well, you'll see all that when it's done anyway. And tell me what you think of those guys. Okay, next bit. I've just cut the tenons out on the bandsaw. You could do them by hand if you've got a tenoning saw, but I've done them on a bandsaw a little bit quicker because there's a lot to do. So I've cut them out. This middle bit is the tenon, and then I've got to just take off these cheeks here. So what I do is I go onto my line, scribe down it with a knife. That gives me a nice clean edge to cut to. Then get me little saw, drop it in that groove. That's it, nice and clean. Okay, and then turn it around, do the other side. A little bit deeper this one because the tenons are offset. So let's just drop this on the line. Drop the saw back in the groove. This is a longer cut, or a deeper cut. Bring the saw up, nice and clean. And there we go, we've got a nice tenon there. Okay, there's a nice tenon on the end there. And then what I'll do is I'll create a haunch. Let me get the chisel. This is my gauge, this chisel here. Alright, so I'll put that in there. This creates my haunch for me. I'll explain that a bit later for you. Keep that flush. And then what I'll do is I'll put this in the vise, and then I'll cut 2 wedges out of there, and these 2 wedges will serve this tenon coming into the mortise. But I'll show you that a bit later. And that's that little bit there, just showing you a bit of a joinery, if you like, or carpentry. Okay, right, so I'm doing some scribing work now for these glazing bars. So you can see on there the scribing lines there and there. How that comes, I'll show you. There's a sash, look, sash come together, or coming together. So that's number one sash there. Okay, and this component here will fit inside here once I scribe it in. Okay, so I'm scribing that into there, and that will go into there. There's a mortise here, a mortise all the way through here. It goes right the way through. Okay, and then what I do is I scribe round here, half a mortise in, scribe over the back part where the putty will be, and then the other one coming in this way, they will meet in the middle. Well, there'll be a slight 1 or 2 mil gap, so they can have a bit of expansion. So there'll be a line of rowels through there, if you like. Give you an idea, that's sort of 6-planer. And also on all the panes of glass for every window, they are the same size pieces of glass. So there's a lot of maths working out, you know, to make sure that all the glass is the same size, top and bottom sash, because you've got to eliminate this centre rowels, the bottom rowel, top rowel, and so on and so forth. Anyway, little show you to getting together. If I can, I'll try and show you me scribing the one of the rowels and then fitting it in. Okay. So here's how I scribe them round. I offer my timber up there. Okay, see this centre lines here and this centre line here is the centre of the beads. So I don't want to go past that centre line on this end. So I slightly come in and I take a mark to that edge there. That's this edge here. Okay, so I put on a little mark there. Then I do the same on the other side, and then just off the centre. Okay, so that's the cut off line, and these are the 2 scribes. I'll show you how to do that. I make up a little template, which is this, which is my scriber. I'll put that on there like that, on that mark there. Okay, and then I'll scribe around there, and at the back as well. I'm just going to do a square line on that, and then same with this side. I don't know if you can see that properly, but I'll put it on that little mark, just line it up so it's properly done, scribe it round, mark for the back. Now I mark my back, so I just keep them with a square, engineer square, put it on my mark, push it up. Okay, same with this side. So I'll put the pencil on my mark, square up to it. That gives me a nice square 90-degree seat cut onto the scribe, and then this bit here, I'll just roughly do that for you. So roughly that bit there gets cut off, right? So I'll take you to the next stage and show you how to cut them. Okay, this is cutting out the scribe. This is the glazing bar, the crossbar. So cutting out the scribe, that'll leave me a little tenon on there. So I'll just show you how to go through this process. Cut to the line. I always nick this off as well. Nick that off. Cut to this line. Square cut across. Done. Then using this saw, it's a coping saw, okay. I should have really a finer blade, but this is the only one I've got. I'm in France, so I can't get hold of it at the moment. But you start the cut, and I'm cutting this scribe here. So 2 hands on the coping saw always. Just follow the line, keeping it parallel. Basically, that's your scribe. Okay, I've already done the other side, so we'll go to show you a fit. Okay, you saw me scribe this bit of timber here, which is a glazing bar. Okay, so now we fit it. So when I fit the middle one, I do it by springing this one out. Okay, so all I do is put it in this side, push against it, and then drop it in. And you can see that that's sitting in there nice and solid, because the tenons are in there. And then when the next one goes in, that'll push up tight, and that'll make that all one line. I'll just check them for that they're straight along there as well after. And that's the sash going together. So you get an idea of how it all goes now, I should think, by all that what I've shown you. There's a lot of work in these, especially when you start getting into glazing bars and mid rails and things like that. I wouldn't expect anyone to make it just off the cuff, because it's difficult. You could possibly make a frame like just one big pane of glass. I think people who've got some carpentry skills might be able to do that, and make a box that it goes in. Just follow this procedure basically. So the next stage will be me showing you these already made and fitted into a box, dry fitted, and you'll get an idea what they're going to look like before we do the massive grand reveal when I put them all in. But that'll be a few weeks away yet, I think, because I've got to get some glass. Okay, hope you're enjoying that. There you go, folks. It's a dry assembly of the first 2 sashes made up. They've got to be glued and set first and then sanded ready. But that's basically how you make sashes for sash windows, sliding box sash windows. The only thing to do on these now is, like I say, sand them up, glue them, and then I've got to cut some grooves in the sides so the ropes can come in, because they're going to be all on traditional cording system with weights. Got cast weights for them. And then Tracy will paint. This side will be painted, so you'll see from outside, this will be the outside, is the painting, and the moulded side is on the inside, which will stay oak. And you'll see these in the box soon. And also, what have I got to do? I was going to say, oh yeah, and then once they're in, I've got to put all the nice brass furniture we got on for them that I showed you in a few videos back. I think it was the one with the box sash, little box sash window. But they're looking terrific, they are. And this is what we call the rough stage, you know. It's once they're all sanded up and everything, and in the boxes, they look absolutely beautiful. And that's why these cost a lot of money to make. If you're making these in the UK in oak, anywhere from £2,500 to £3,000 a window. Yeah, it sounds a lot of money, but it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of good material and that, and they're bespoke, you know. They're not. So Tracy's painting the windows, boxes that I made. Do you want to explain what you're doing, Trey?
Yep, I'm just putting on our third coat of the top coat of our paint that we've chosen.
Yeah.
Which obviously everyone knows. As you can see, I'm just painting. This is the outside. So this is the top. That is the bottom, as you know, and that's where the sills
the full sill goes in,
which is on the bed. So I'm literally just painting all the front face, all inside, and as you can see, that was a little bit tricky to do, but I'm using artist brush, which is perfect, isn't it, when you're doing little areas. So I'm just on my third coat now. Yeah. But I've done it a little bit different this time, because normally when I've painted windows in the past, obviously for you, I've done everything first coat, everything that needs to be done, then second coat, third. But I thought if I get this finished, I can put that down and then bring it up, because obviously we haven't got a lot of space in here. So looks lovely. On the what we're doing is having the outside only painted for water protection, like Tracy said, putting 3 coats on. So where she's painting up to now, cutting in, is where up to the bead goes, the start parting bead. And we're going to keep all the insides oak. So you're going to see that from the inside. The sashes will be oak, everything. And you'll see the sashes in this video made up. So it's all coming along quite swimmingly now, isn't it, Trey? Yes. Things are moving along now. Crack on now. Now the oil's dried nicely. I can just... Because what my plan is to get all of these painted, put them aside, and then when you bring the sashes up, I can all them, and rather than be in the middle and everything sort of on top. Well, they'll see the sashes in this video, in after this segment, I suppose. But there's all the other ones here. They've been oiled and protected, so it's like a primer coat, like we said in the past, and that's all ready to get ready to be painted on the outsides only. And it's much quicker this way, because you're only painting one side, aren't you? But well, you're painting one side, but you get tricky when you're doing the sashes, you'll see. I thought about but not too bad, but you'll get there. And you'll probably have to have a touch-up when we put them in, when I fit them, because you always mark them when you're fitting them, you can't help it. But it's looking good. Aren't they, when they're in? They're just going to totally transform. Well, they'll transform it, and it moves us along to another stage now. So we can now drop on to doing the other 2 windows up the front there. I can, as well as doing this stud work in here, and we'll push this room on now. Yeah, and then that way I can get on the tape and jointly and see. We've only slowed down in this room because I have to do them 2 windows, and it's time consuming, and it's silly for me to just make 2 windows and then have to come off and make 2 windows again. So I've made all 4 in one go, which are the box sash window style. But by putting all these windows in, is eventually when we get downstairs, is going to allow us to push on with doing the exactly as well, because it'll seal these up here, because these are pouring in water on the sills. I mean, if you just look over in that corner there behind Tracy, all the mould and the rot on the bottom of them windows, the water's just piling in. As soon as it rains, it does it on all of them. Let me just come and show them this. Look at that there. Well, they can see that over there's rubbish, but you know, it's just piles in here. Doesn't matter what you do, it just keeps piling in. But anyway, we're getting rid of them. We're going to have proper windows in now. Well, when you do restoration, if you think about it, the first thing you do is replace all the floors, the doors, windows. More important because it's no point in doing all the lovely decorating. Yeah. And then everything gets ruined, doesn't it? So, but I think it's going to be lovely, and it's nice to be painting. Also, while I was down in the workshop making the sashes, which I'm making now, I started to get visions of the kitchen.
making, what I want to do. Do you remember the one I made in our house in England in March?
Yep.
Yeah, that was a great big kitchen. It was all handmade. We got silly quotes, didn't we, for like 60, 70,000 pounds to have it done. So I did it myself.
From John Lewis, wasn't it?
No,
what were they called?
Can't remember. They're another company, but they priced it into that sort of money, and I just thought, sod it, I'll make it myself, and I've done it, and it actually looked better, didn't it?
Well, I won't show you yet, but I've been pinning a lot of things to my board on Pinterest.
Oh yeah, well.
For ideas.
Anyway, we'll cut this off. I'll have a look again once we get some sashes up, and then we can have another little video there, right?
Okay, ciao, ciao.
See you in a bit. Okay then, here we go. This is the first sash together. This is the actually one for the downstairs front room, but Tracy's oiling them up here, so I've brought the sashes up for her to start on. So I pushed them in their position to see what they look like. So I'm going to give you a little explanation about this window. Let's sit down here and try and get some perspective. Right, so this is a Georgian style window, okay? It's exactly how they would have made them in the Georgian times, in this proportion. The panes are within the golden rule, if you like, so it gives you that feeling that the proportions are right. You'll see that more once we get them fitted. There's some other little details here, and if you can notice, just here, my little fleur-de-lis design I done, half fleur-de-lis on the horns, so that's here, okay? That's what I was looking for, that total uniqueness. In 40 years of working in the trade as a joiner, carpenter, I've never seen it, so it's something different and it will suit this house. Also, you'll notice that if you look at the glazing bars, which are these ones here, I'll just explain all the terminology. Glazing bars, this is a top rail up here. These are called stiles, horns, meeting rails, and then you run down there, it's your bottom rail, and also your glazing bars, right? So I'll just tell you about them. If you look at the view of it, and the Georgians were king with this, they had perfected these windows to the maximum in proportion, right? If you look at the top rail, when it's hid behind the bead, it gives a distance of the same as the glazing bar. Same with the stiles. So everything's in proportion there. And then, believe it or not, the mid rail is nearly 1/4 inch thicker than the glazing bar. But when the putty goes in, it actually looks very similar in size. So it looks all in proportion. The bottom rail is twice... the top rail plus the meeting rail in thickness, so that gives that proportion right down there as well. And This is the down here is the double seal, so that's the extending seal I've put on in that groove that sits in there. But it's all a dried assembly yet, because Tracy's got to oil these two sashes and then paint the other side. This outside face is actually going to be painted, and the back side of the other side of it, if I can spin it round actually and give you a little view of that, just bear with me with the camera. So hopefully it'll stand up. Okay, so there we go. So this is your beaded side. This is what you'll see from the inside oiled. This is this finish, okay, with the trim round it as well when I finish it off as well. So you can see all the intricate tenoning work that you have to do with this, yeah, to get it to fit in there. Mortise and tenons, and then wedging. It goes all the way down the sides, everywhere around, all right? Got lovely brass wheels on there. And then you're going to have, this is only temporary here because there's no cords in it at the moment. You're going to have the nice brass acorn fasteners. And then down the bottom you'll have the nice brass pulls to lift it up and down. And you don't see no horns on this side, you only see them on the outside. Anyway, that's the conclusion of the windows. The next time you'll see him, and it won't be for a few weeks yet, because we're going to move on to other videos now, but this is, you know, we're finished with these windows now, making these. I've done them basically. So it's about getting the glass and fitting them, putting them, and ready. I have had an idea. I'm going to quickly say this to you, all right? Because we like to save things, we're very sort of environmentally friendly in a way, you know, we try to save as much as we can. These windows are full panes of double glazing, okay? They're just beads stuck on. I'm going to take all them apart, and if I can break them apart, take them apart centrally, and then I'll cut this glass up if it isn't toughened, and then I'll cut this glass, because you can't cut toughened glass, it's impossible. But if it isn't, I'm going to cut them, and then I'm going to use the glass from there, because I've worked out that one of these, if you can save the whole lot, you can get 2 windows worth for these, all the proportions right. Because so what it means is this one pane here will do 2 long ways of that one you've just seen behind me that I've made. So we'll be able to save glass as well, rather than throwing all this in a tip. But we're going to try that out first, because we feel that we're going to take a long time to get our glass from the glazers here. Everything's a little bit of a slow process here. But anyway, hope you enjoyed that little series. I know it went on for a couple of 3 weeks, but I had to take you through the process to show you. And, you know, the budding carpenters out there, this is the sort of thing you can make when you get good. Not saying I'm good, but I'm just saying, you know. Anyway, all right, thank you.